more into the football type questions here. Is like you said, you came here, it wasn't all that great. You kind of turned it around. 08, 09. You guys had a combined record of 17-4, and then here in 2010, 2011, you've gone 9-11 over those 2 seasons. Yes. What changed there in that 4-year span? That kind of you went from so high to really about average. What do you think you need to change to get back to that point?
I think from the 9 to 10, from 09 to 10, I think we got a little complacent. I think when you go 9-2, 8-2. I think our guys maybe got a little complacent, didn't work as hard as they needed to in the offseason. They thought it would just happen if you walked onto the field, which caused us to go 6-4 and lost, quite frankly, 2 games we should have never lost. But I think we got a little complacent now, and then taking that a step farther from 10 to 11, which we just finished. I thought our guys worked pretty hard in the offseason. The biggest thing that we didn't do is finish. We were in every game in the fourth quarter, except for Mount and Heidelberg. But Heidelberg, you can't have 6 turnovers and expect to win a football game.
Right.
So, but all the other games we were either tied, up by 7, somewhere in there, in the fourth quarter, and we lost. So our biggest thing is finish, and that's what I'm really going to talk about. And during camp, during the off season. Is we need to finish football games. We can't go 3-7 again and lose 5 football games by a total of 20 points. Yeah. Got to finish. And we've adopted a saying here in the off season, which is only now exists. And that's what we're going to say. Only now exists. It's going to be one play at a time, one practice at a time, one game at a time. Only now exists. And because I want them, to play and play hard for that particular moment. If we're lifting, you got to lift for that particular moment. So, last night, it's funny you say that, because last night when I sent a mass text to the players, I said, it's official, I'm your new head football coach, let's get to work. And I said, we need, in bold, I put finish. So I wanted to start instilling that in their brain within 10 minutes of me getting the job. Finish. They got to know that's what we're going to do.
And why do you think you weren't able to finish last year, and what makes you think you'll be able to finish in this upcoming season?
I think, we need to put them in situations during the week of, a 4-minute offense. Hey, we got to run the clock out here. Defense, you got to stop us. Offense, you got to go. You got to put them in situations during practice during the week, which we started doing a little bit last year, but I want to expand on it a little bit more. Put them in situations, it's a competition. Win or lose. Offense, you're going to win, or defense, you're going to win. So I think, the way I structure practices and things like that, I think it'll help us. Maybe even pull out a clip or 2 of the Capital game. Why did we lose the Capital game last year? Let's look. As a team, let's pull that film up and let's look, 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Okay? Here's what we need to improve on. Here's what we need to do.
You've been the offensive coordinator. The offense has been great. Defense has struggled a little bit in recent years. Austin Schlosser, senior quarterback, he's done here. Steve Cusick, the wide receiver, he's done here. Trey Fairchild's coming back, which I'm sure makes you extremely happy.
Absolutely.
And so just talk about kind of where the offense is right now. Cody Green is a senior now. He'll be the feature back, I assume. And so you've still got some pieces there to work with, but at the same time, you've also lost some key pieces.
The first name you said was Austin Schlosser. And Austin was a 3-year starter for us, did a great job. And to replace him, we've got a young man, Aaron Kincaid, who has waited his turn, been very patient, and been he's a great punter. Everybody in the country knows about his punting skills. But he's the guy that will probably step in. If I had to start a football game today, he would be our starting quarterback. I have all the confidence in the world in him. He's smart, physical, things like that. And he's got that, he can read defenses, but he is not, he's never said a word. He's just sat back and waited, and he knew that his time would be here, and it is now. Steve Cusick, you say Trey, we still have Trey back. Steve, did a great job last year.
Right.
I mean, made some outstanding catches, clutch catches. We've got to look out there for somebody to replace Steve. I want us to still have the ability to move Trey around, whether it's at X, Z, or the inside wide receiver spots. Trey's got to be versatile and be able to be moved around. So we've got a couple guys at X that I think can step up. We've got a young man, Grant Smith. We've got Mike Ryan, and all these guys have played. Chris Irwin at Z, and they're older, so they need to step up. You mentioned Cody Green. Cody unfortunately had knee surgery. Right now he's rehabbing, so his status right now is, to be honest, is unknown. We don't know what's going to happen here with his knee, but we've got plenty of running backs. We've got Brock, and who saw some time last year. We've got plenty of running backs, couple transfers. So it'll be a battle at running back. And the one thing our guys better understand is this. It's going to be a competition every week. If you're not practicing the way I want you to practice, then, somebody might step in and take your spot. And that's the one thing I want everybody to understand. Now, I'm going to push the limits as to how good do you want to be, how hard do you want to practice, and we've got to, you better get it done, because I will replace you. I'm not trying to be mean. It's not. I always tell our guys, hey, it's not personal. I love every one of you like you're my sons, but understand I got to do what's best for the program. Gabe Shively's coming back, got a 5th year at tight end. So and Gabe and I have talked many times here in the off season. I need him to step up, and he knows that. But I feel really good offensively. Like you said, we've been pretty successful. People have asked me, who's going to run your offense? Well, I am. I'm not. Yeah, right. I'm still going to run the offense. I think that's important. Our guys are used to what we do. It's been successful. It's proven it's been successful. So here in the spring we have changed some things. Believe it or not, you're probably going to see us under center some, which has never been. It hasn't been done here in 2 years. We haven't taken a snap under center. We are going to go under center a little bit. So we are adding some things and doing some things like that.
You got the offensive side down pat.
Down pat.
Looks like you have all that figured out.
Yep.
But now that you're the head coach, you've also got to worry about the other side of the ball on the defensive side. Talk about kind of that part of the team and where you guys are at right now and how you can improve from last season.
I think when we were the 3-3 stack, when you're running the 3-3 stack, the first year we ran it. We ironed out some wrinkles, and once we ironed those wrinkles out, they jumped to like second in the conference in defense. It was something that people hadn't seen. Well, during the offseason, I think people prepared for it a lot better and went and learned about it. So offense has sort of, figured us out last year a little bit, and they, started dissecting the 3-3 stack and put us in some binds that, quite frankly, it's hard to adjust to the binds they were putting us in. So, those guys have done a great job here in the offseason looking at a different defense. We probably are going to switch defenses. We're going to go from the 3-3 to the 3-4. Okay. So that'll put, 4 linebackers on the field, right. 3 down. Now you've got a chance to move guys, and you don't always have 6 in the box to where, they can do some things that the 3-3 stack doesn't allow you to do. And I told them, I'm not going to come in here and tell them, here's what I want, here's what we're going to do. I just want to sit in there, give you a little input, and I want to know what we're doing. I just want to know what we're doing. So when game day comes, I'm in the loop. I know what you've talked about, what we're going to do to trips, what we're going to do to 2x2, what we're going to do to certain things. But I have no worries. They'll get it done. They're good coaches. And with our scheme now, I think they'll really iron out some things that have hurt us in the past, and I really think they'll do a great job.
Moving to the 3-4 defense, you feel that you have the depth at linebacker to make that switch and be successful?
Yeah. I mean, the spot we have of what we have more of anything on our football team is linebackers. I mean, we have a lot of linebackers. We've got some tough young men, that are strong, that we think will put their nose in there and do a great job. So, I think we're bringing in 15 more too. When I saw the 10 to 15 linebackers recruits are coming in. So we have a lot of depth at linebacker. And who's to say, maybe one of those young guys, like I said, we're going to play the best players. So, you know, I'm going to put the freshmen to the test right away when they come in. I want to see who can play and who can't right away. You know, whether they're a starter or whether they're in the too deep. I want to push. That's another thing I want to do is I want to throw our freshmen to the fire pretty quickly against the upperclassmen in camp, because I want to find out right away, can they play? I don't want to wait until week 7 and think, man, we should have played that freshman. He's pretty good. You know, he probably could have helped us win. Let's find out right away. Let's get after it and let's find out, can these young guys play? And there might be some linebackers in there that step up. There might be some old linemen come in here and step up. It's just, that's one thing I have to do for our depth purposes.
You're coming off a 3-7 year, which, you know, like you touched on earlier, could have easily been a 7-3
sure.
record. So what are your expectations as now the head coach of this football team and what they're capable of?
We can't go 3-7 in Otterbein. You know, that's Otterbein. You don't expect to do that anymore. That cannot happen. So obviously my expectations are get us back in the top in the OAC. I told, you know, our athletic director, Dawn Stewart, that, you know, she said, what's your vision? I said, our vision is to get back in the national spotlight. My vision is to get us back into the playoffs. You know, that's where we've got to be. We've got to be at an elite level here. You know, I'm not going to settle for mediocre. And if you're not getting it done, then I'm going to find somebody that is. Because I think our players really understand that. They do. They knew it was a tough year. And I've seen, you know, we had great workouts here in the off season. You know, they showed me something. The guys that really showed they want to be here, they did, and they worked hard. So, to be honest, I think we had one of the best springs we've ever had out on the field. So, with that being said, you know, their expectations are high, mine are high. You know, I want to be right back to where we were 08-09. People might say, wow, that's after going 3-7, you expect? Yes, I do. Because that's Otterbein football. That's the way we've got to think, and that's the way we've got to act.
To wrap up, I want to give you a chance here to speak out to the students and some of your players and the alumni, like yourself, from Otterbein here. Just if you have a message for them, or you know, you just want to give a statement to them, go ahead.
You know, and I appreciate that. You know, I've got a lot of support. I've had support from students, players, administration, staff. You know, my family, my friends. You know, and I've been flooded with calls over the last night was probably the craziest night of my life, to be honest. I couldn't keep up. At one point, Coach Moore called and I answered the phone. He said, how's it going? And I said, I'm behind 10 texts I'm behind, and I've got 4 voicemails waiting. And then I walk in this morning and I probably had 40 emails. So, you know, that to me means a lot. It really does. It shows that, you know, I've done some good things in my life, and I've waited and been patient. And so the biggest thing I want to say to them is thank you, you know, for being there. You know, hopefully I don't let you down. Come on out to the Otterbein games, and you know, you'll see something special, because, you know, we're going to be intense. We're going to get after it, and we're going to play hard, you know, and we're going to finish. And just always remember, only now exists. And, you know, our staff's going to work hard, and I thank them for backing me on this. And, you know, that means a lot when your staff gets behind you and say, hey, we want you to take this job. So, you know, that's the biggest thing I want to say is thank you. Come out next year. Hopefully we're back in the top 25 in the country, and, you know, we're going to hopefully make a statement.
All right, great job, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks.